Hello and welcome to Talladega Superspeedway for today's race in the nr 2003-2007, but it's 2026's schedule sim series. And in a shock pole position, David Ruderman will lead the field to green with Mark Martin to his outside. Before we do get into this wild starting lineup, let's take a look at the points heading into this race so you can see where your favorite driver stacks up among the field. David Ruderman starts on pole position with Mark Martin to his outside, and making up row 2 you have Clint Boyer and Matt Kenseth. Row 3 consists of John Andretti and David Stremme with Ryan Newman and Elliott Sadler behind them. Kyle Petty and Jeff Gordon make up row number 5 with Casey Kane and David Gilliland, who won the Daytona 500 in row number 6. Kyle Busch and JJ Yeley in row number 7 with Jimmy Johnson and Greg Biffle in row 8. Reed Sorensen and AJ Allmendinger make up row number 9 with Jeff Burton, last week's winner, with Kevin Harvick in row 10. Sterling Marlin and Juan Pablo Montoya in row number 11 with Scott Riggs and Joe Nemechek in row 12. Jeff Green and Dale Earnhardt Jr. in row number 13 with Kurt Busch and Dave Blaney in row number 14. Row number 15 consists of Casey Mears and Carl Edwards with Tony Raines and Jamie McMurray in row number 16. Row 17 consists of Dale Jarrett and Robbie Gordon with David Reagan and Boris Said in row 18. Bobby Labonte and Martin Truex Jr. make up row number 19 with Brian Vickers and Tony Stewart in row number 20. Row 21 consists of Ricky Rudd and Paul Menard with Denny Hamlin rounding out the field for today's race. Well, without further ado, let's go down trackside to get the command to fire up engines from Talladega. I went too far.
Drivers, to your car.
Drivers, start your engines.
And the engines roar to life here from Talladega. 3 stages today, 23, 48, 76 are when they end. And now let's get into the keys to the race. You want to keep your track position, but you want to stay out of trouble as well. You want to play the strategy right. You want to get as many stage points as possible. The bottom lane, just like Daytona, is going to be preferred, but the higher 2 lanes can still make a run. Especially in the tri-oval, where you may see 3, 4, even 5 wide for position. This race can change so many people's seasons as we head into Texas next week, another mile and a half, and we won't be on a super speedway again until Atlanta Motor Speedway in, I believe, June. This could be the win that gives someone momentum to make a run at the chase. And for David Ruderman, for John Andretti, for Kyle Petty, for David Stremme, for Elliott Sadler, this could be one of your only chances to win this season. As the field comes around turn 3 and 4, getting ready to see the green flag here from Talladega Superspeedway. David Ruderman on the pole position, Mark Martin behind him. Goes to make his hard left turn off pit road. And we will be coming to the green flag from Talladega. Pace car down pit road, adjusting to the pit speed. Here we go. Green flags in the air, we're racing at Talladega. And it's a good jump from both lanes, but Ruderman's going to lead him across his drivers they had through 1 and 2. Andretti already making a move down to lock, but no help so far. That may change as Ryan Newman takes a look down low. And now Casey Kane's coming up to help John Andretti in the 37. That's going to allow Mark Martin to poke out into the lead, as neither of the Luma 2 lanes had organization here. Now Kane's going to make it 4 wide for second, with help from Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson. Off 3 and 4 they go. Kane with the inside lane. Help from Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson. But Mark Martin has the top side, which has better momentum through the tri-oval. And to lead lap 1, it'll be Casey Kane. Kane leads the first lap of the race. They're nearly 5 wide already. Tense moments right now, as you don't want to tear up your stuff on lap 2, but everyone wants to be at the front. But the big one could start at the front, as now John Andretti nosing ahead with the race lead in the 3 and 4. And here comes Jeff Burton, who we were talking about. He started outside of the top 10, and by lap 2, Jeff Burton is going to be in the lead at Talladega, but this lead may change every single lap of this race. Burton through the tri-oval, he leads the lap. 5 wide again, Burton back. How hard do you want to race? Do you want to drop out of the pack? If you're one of these back markers, who really is only racing for a win, but you gotta make that choice quickly, because it may be too late before you can even make a choice. 4 by 4 by 4, but that's 5 by 5 by 5, as they head through 3 and 4. Now Jamie McMurray, with help from David Reagan, is going to jump out into the race lead. Here on lap number 3, the field keeping it surprisingly clean so far. All doing a great job of keeping their stuff together, as now Jamie McMurray is going to come across the stripe and be the race leader, barely over AJ Allmendinger, and they're going to crash. Kyle Busch is going to go around. Casey Mears collected. The field checking out. John Andretti goes for the slide. So too does Casey Kane. Greg Biffle in the 16 caught up in it, so was Scott Briggs in the 10. Caution flies 4 laps into the race here at Talladega. And Riggs and Biffle may be beached on the apron. So the caution flag is out for the first time today, and as they come back to the line, it'll be Tony Raines who leads us to the restart, assuming everyone stays out. And you did not want to get caught up in a wreck early, but luckily for these guys, it doesn't seem any of the damage is terminal. Let's take a look at what happened here to Kyle Busch. You can see he's being helped by his teammate in Mears, and oh, he gets hooked. We'll have to go to a different camera view, but it looks like he got hooked. And Burton actually got a piece of it. And then Biffle and Riggs slide in. So here's the incident from a different angle. Oh yeah, Harvick got into Busch, and he overcorrected back up the racetrack and got him into Casey Mears. Let's take a look at it again. Yeah, just nowhere to go for Busch. Robbie Gordon actually got a piece of it as well. You see Jeff Burton, Biffle, and Riggs got stuck on the banking, just having to slam the brakes. And everyone does come down pit road here under this first caution of the day. And it looks like Kevin Harvick also got a piece of it, as you see that side damage on the 29 car. But Tony Raines is going to come off pit road in first. Jeff Green behind him, then Stewart, Allmendinger. Truex Vickers, Petty, Menard, Earnhardt Jr., McMurray, Johnson, Sorensen, Boyer, Sad, Rudd, Newman, Marlin, Kurt Busch, Ruderman, Gillen, Martin, Labonte, Hamlin, Harvick, Sadler, Montoya, Edwards, Jarrett, Gordon, Nemechek, Burton, Yaley, Kenseth, Stremme, Mears, Robbie Gordon. And then you have Casey Kane coming off pit road, John Andretti, and Kyle Busch. Dave Blaney's sitting here in the pit road for an extended period of time. Greg Biffle and Scott Riggs both get back out onto the racetrack, but they are currently 2 laps down. So all 43 cars still out here currently. And we are going to come back to the restart with Tony Raines leading the field. One of those underdogs we talked about. This may be one of his only chances to win this season, along with Jeff Green in that 66 car. But here we go. The green flag is going to be back in the air here from Talladega. And Raines gets the jump over Jeff Green as they head through 1 down the front straightaway, and now through 1 and 2. Cars making the move out of line already. Truex on the leader. Jeff Green, now Paul Menard also down low, further back. Side by side, turn 2. And it'll take a little bit for this pack to get fully formed back up, especially with guys like Casey Mears holding everyone up back here. Mears, if you remember, suffered a heartbreak at Atlanta and led the most laps. Unfortunately, did not go his way that day. It seems like it won't go his way today in Talladega as he is slipping back through the field. As they come down the front straightaway, it'll be Jeff Green leading the lap as they're back to 4 wide already, like nothing happened. 4 by 4 for 1 and 2, Menard and Johnson and Rudd trying to get to the race lead. Does Gillen film, since his teammate Rudd is down there in that lane as well. Still 4 wide as they come through 3 and 4. Menard with the push down low from 2006 champion Jimmy Johnson. Here we go for 3 and 4. Menard up the block with Brian Vickers here in the 83 car. And now, Ricky Rudd down low. But Menard again with help. Up high, Vickers to push him. Newman pushing Ricky Rudd down low. Rudd, one of those guys further down in the point order that could really use a win today. Here at Talladega, they are 5 wide again. Newman and Boyer. McMurray gets bounced below the yellow line almost. That was almost disastrous for him. They make it 5 wide for the race lead for just a moment, but McMurray is going to clear into the race lead. Well, he's going to clear Newman. He's not clear of Menard, Rudd, Johnson, and others yet, but he potentially will be. But Ruderman may lead the lap. David Ruderman knows the head of the line, and now the pole sitter gets his lap led today. He's going to go high off to. That's where you see most of these leaders go off to once they're clear. But they are forward fire, and they're going to crash. They're going to crash down the back straightaway. Clinton Boyer going around. Elliott Sadler, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Harvick with damage, Brian Vickers in the 83, they're still sliding in, Kyle Busch in the 5, Tony Raines in the 96, Reed Sorensen in the 41. Kyle Busch with big damage to his 5 car. Kurt Busch to lead him to the caution. Smoke going out of 41 of Reed Sorensen. let's take a look at what happened here to the 07 of Clint Boyer to trigger this wreck. So, they're just 5 wide, and he gets squeezed, it seems, into Kyle Petty. Goes around, and you know, he's going for a slide, and they started piling in further back like no one was lifting. They see Kyle Busch get a piece, Juan Montoya in 42. But what happened back there with Tony Raines and others? Because it seemed like an entirely different wreck started happening back here. Well, it was just a domino effect. And Tony Raines gets helped off of the banking by Dale Jr. Ryan Vickers, you saw with significant damage to his Red Bull number 83 car. A free pass under this caution will go to Greg Biffle in the 16. He'll be 1 lap down. You see Edwards winning the race off of pit road here. John Andretti getting some damage repairs there and done on his number 37 car. Riggs and Biffle stayed out, but I don't know if they're going to go through and pit. But if not, then Carl Edwards is still the race leader. Boyer, Vickers, Sorensen, Harvick, Stremme, Busch, Montoya all out of the race. And it seems they're going to go back to green on lap 17 with just less than 10 to go to the stage end. Kurt Busch, McMurray, and others are currently being held up in pit road. We'll get to that story later if we do know what's going on, because Kurt Busch led them back to the caution. But Carl Edwards, ahead of Denny Hamlin, who started in 43rd position, are going to lead them back to the green flag. 32 cars out here on track. You got some sitting in pit road, and a couple out of the race. But here we go, to the green flag. Green flag back in the air. Edwards and Hamlin get the jump. As we go across the start-finish line here towards 1 and 2. I see Casey Mears, he came to his spots here in the pits. But who knows if his car can compete. And that answer is no, see how slow Mears is going. But Edwards leads the field here for 3 and 4, and he'll continue to hold the lead here off turn 4 with no contest pretty much. Edwards won at Las Vegas just a couple of races ago here at the start of the season, trying to get his second win of the season here at Talladega. As they come for 1 and 2 now, Jimmy Johnson is going to take the lead here. But can Bobby Labonte make a move? Reagan down on the apron of an issue. He's going for the grass. And it says David Reagan has a brake failure, apparently. So that's why you see the 6 of David Reagan right there on the apron. But still 4 wide here at the front, even with some cars missing right now. There's about 18 cars in the lead pack. Maybe a few more if these guys can get past Casey Mears. Jeff Gordon drives his way up into the pack. Ricky Rudd making a move for the lead with help from Jeff Green. As they come off turn 4, Menard now looking to the bottom. Kenseth with a push up the middle. Can Kenseth lead the lap? Yes, he will. Matt Kenseth will lead the lap here at Talladega. So 5 laps away from the stage end. Menard down low. Kenseth up high. Gilroy, the 500 winner, poking a nose down low. As you see Reagan come off pit road. Right now, Greg Biffle is in that free pass position, so he wants to see David Reagan remain on the lead lap, but I don't know if that'll be possible for Reagan. And now Jeff Green leading the pack here at Talladega. Gordon and Mark Martin trying to make something work down low, but there are only 2 cars working together compared to like 5 or 6 up there up in the upper 2 lanes. But now Johnson comes to join them down low, and they're going to be 4 wide for the race lead off turn number 2. And Reagan is going to be told to get out of the way here. So the 6 of David Reagan pulls the pit road for now. As we come to 2 to go on stage 1. Gordon with the lead now. 1 and 2, they may not be done wrecking in this stage. As you see, there they go. Martin Truex Jr. is going to go for a slide. Bobby Labonte fought a minute, so too is Dale Jarrett. The field is scrambling to the void. Caution is out. This will end the stage. And Jimmy Johnson is going to come off turn 4 to win stage 1 here at Talladega, assuming that they don't pit this lap. Greg Biffle will get the free pass underneath this caution flag. Dale Jarrett is out of the race. So Stewart and Truex got together, which set off the wreck. And then in comes piling so many cars from the second pack, who just don't hit the brakes. Eight cars out of the race so far, and I guess you can consider Dave Blaney, Casey Kane, Nemechek, McMurray, Kurt Busch all out. So 13 cars out of 43 that started this race are out currently as Johnson comes down pit road. There you see Matt Kenseth already in his pit stall. And Jeff Gordon is going to come off pit road to win stage 1. Greg Biffle and Scott Riggs wave around to get back on the lead lap. So the 10 and 16, who still appear to be pretty quick, are going to be in this race still. But 23rd on down are all out of the race. So 1, 2. About half the field has wrecked out, and we're only in stage 1 here from Talladega. David Reagan is the first car laps down. He is currently 3 down. And there you see Riggs and Biffle getting their pit service. Now they've gotten back on the lead lap. But Reagan's now sitting in the pit road with an issue. So lap 48 is where we go to for the end of this next stage. 22 cars on the lead lap, all of them together on the racetrack. But how quick are all of them? We're talking about the underdogs at the start. You got Mark Martin up here still. David Gilliland, David Ruderman, Boris Said, Kyle Petty, Sterling Marlin, Ricky Rudd, Robbie Gordon, Jeff Burton's not an underdog. Elliott Sadler, JJ Yaley, Bobby Albani's still up here. Jeff Green might still have some pace. Paul Menard, Greg Biffle, Scott Riggs. But here we go back to the restart. And the green flag flies back in the air. As the field heads to 1 and 2. Jeff Gordon with the race lead as you see these guys shuffling out. The slower traffic of Robbie Gordon, Dale Jr. and others. Greg Biffle making a move on Paul Menard as he tries to remain inside of the draft. But as they go off for Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon are side by side down the front straightaway, and Martin's going to lead the lap. And now there's about 14 cars in the lead pack. When Biffle gets up here, it'll probably be 15. As they continue down the back straightaway still. Mark Martin now in front. But here comes Gilliland down low. Gilliland won the 500 earlier this year. They run side by side for 3 and 4. Now Johnson takes a look down low. But Gilliland still holds the lead as they come through the tri-oval to complete lap number 28. Now 20 to go in stage number 2. Johnson made clear Gilliland here off turn 2, but decides not to go up the block, so now Gilliland is going to have a head of steam as they come down the back straightaway here. Gilliland up high, Johnson down low, but Johnson's going to now clear for the race lead through 3 and 4. Biffle, Sadler, and Jeff Burton straggling just at the back of the pack, but they are up here contending in the pack as Hamlin looks down low on Johnson. Side by side for the race lead. It was Jeff Gordon who won stage 1, Johnson wants to win stage number 2. And there you see Menard, Earnhardt Jr. and Robbie Gordon running together back there in a small little pack. But the cars with no help right now are really Scott Riggs, who is about 25 seconds back already and running about 10 seconds a lap slower. Oh, 8 seconds a lap slower. As the field still continues to run side by side, free wide in some spots as Hamlin leads them across the stripe. And this is probably going to be your contenders for the race win here when we get to the final lap. I think they may be done wrecking today, but I'm not completely sure. I don't want to jinx anything either. But now Saddle is caught back up to the back as Newman gets a shove to the lead from Starling Marlin, and now Marlin's going to look low. Marlin looks low, but Newman has the lead. Neither of these guys have help, but Marlin's going to get the help first. Newman still leads him across the stripe though. And there's Scott Riggs further up the road. He may get called to pit road here soon. Maybe called out of the race for going too slow. Here's Ricky Rudd down low. He's looking for the race lead. Starling Marlin has it right now. Marlin, I believe, may have the most laps led so far today. But they run side by side off for Edwards on the apron. And Edwards has a problem. So an issue for the 99 of Carl Edwards. And they're catching Scott Riggs right here. But he's going to come down pit road here when they get off 3 and 4. And they're actually going to call the caution because Riggs stacked everyone up. So Ricky Rudd leads us back to the caution, and you pretty much saw what happened there. And now everyone's going to come down pit road. This fits into their fuel window. Rudd, the first one to hit pit road and get his service. He's going to take tires and fuel in his number 88 Ford. And the final stage, is about 25 laps. So actually, about this, not about the same length as these first two stages. I think they're like, stage 1 was 23 laps, stage 2 goes from 24 laps. So it gradually increases 1 lap. But we're going to have about 12 laps to go to the end of stage number 2 here from Talladega. Maybe 11 laps to go, actually. Here we go through the tri-oval back to the green flag. And now Gilliland has an issue in pit road. Green flag back in there, though. So they head for 1 and 2. Ruderman and Rudd Rudd side by side for the race lead. Rudeman started on the pole position. He's getting a shove from Greg Biffle now, who was involved in that lap 4 crash, trying to get up to the lead now. And there's Rudeman. He's going to come across the stripe with the race lead down in the 1 and 2. It's Rudeman, Rudd, and Biffle here at the front of the field. But here comes Edwards down low for the race lead. As they race through 3 and 4, Edwards trying to clear them on his own. But now they're going to be 4 wide for the lead momentarily because Greg Biffle looks down low. Rudd with the lead though as they come across the stripe. Menard, Earnhardt Jr. and Burton are trying to catch up to the pack. Menard might be the most successful of these 3. Down the back straightaway they go. It's still Ricky Rudd leading at Talladega, but now Edwards has help down low with JJ Yaley. Can he make it past this time? Can he make it stick? Off turn 4, Rudd still noses ahead of the race lead. As they come across the stripe, Rudd leads once again, inching towards maybe having the most laps left by the end of today. As you see a car almost on the apron, that's Mark Martin in the 01. As they come off turn number 2. Menard and Earnhardt Jr. still trying to get into the pack, but they're not having much success at the moment. As here comes Carl Edwards through 3 and 4. Rudeman and Jeff Gordon are going to make a move down low now, with less than 10 to go in stage number 2. Rudeman has help from Jimmy Johnson, and then Jeff Gordon, his help is JJ Yaley, and Yaley's not even to the back bumper. Edwards holds the lead here in the turn 1. As Rudeman and Johnson and Hamlin and Martin and Yaley try to work by in turn 1. Now Yaley jumps back down low to try to help Jeff Gordon. As they continue through 1 and 2, as you look further back to see Robbie Gordon and Elliott Sadler battling for 16th. And obviously Sadler was up there in the pack, but got slowed up there in pit road and cost him several spots. As they come through the tri-oval, it's Rudeman and Edwards side by side through the tri-oval. As they come across the stripe, Rudeman may have led the lap by 3 he does. As they go through 1 and 2 again, Edwards, Johnson, Rudeman, your top 3. But Edwards getting the shove down the back straightaway from Ricky Rudd, and now he's going to clear for now into 3 and 4. Hamlin sees Gordon trying to make something work down low. Now he goes to follow Jeff Gordon. Rudeman still with help from Johnson, but now Mark Martin jumps down the line. This will hurt the bottom lane. As they come to this line, it's easily going to be Carl Edwards still leading as they cross the stripe. But now David Rudeman still fighting back off turn number 2. He's got a bit more help this time around, but it's just not enough. 6 cars on the outside compared to 5 on the inside. The outside is better down the straightaway, but here's where you see the lower 2 lanes start to come back. Here's Rudeman. but Ruderman may be getting split by Johnson. 4 wide for second as Edwards gets fully cleared into the race lead. And he holds it here off turn 2 as they continue to run 3 by 3 behind him. Now Ricky Rudd is going to get clear. Can Rudd make a move to the inside on Edwards? Yes, he can. Ricky Rudd's going to go for the race lead now. Here come the 200 teammates, Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. Rudd up the block, Carl Edwards though, as they come through the tri-oval. Now 3 to go in stage 2. And obviously, let's take a look at the garage. Where it should say how much fuel lasts. Yes, fuel lasts 37 laps here at Talladega, which means when these guys pit, they should be good to go to the end, but they do have to account for green-white checker potentially. Gilland, Blaney, and others still sitting on pit road here, as Johnson with the lead through through the tri-oval, as he comes to 2 laps to go in stage number 2 here from Talladega. Johnson leading pole sitter Dave Ruderman ahead of Jeff Gordon as they come down the back straightaway with a lap and a half to go in the second stage. As they go for 3 and 4, they're going to come to the white flag in stage number 2. Johnson with the race lead ahead of Ruderman, Rudd, and Gordon. Top lane prevailing here, white flag stage 2, and here's the move from Ruderman. Ruderman with the move to the inside 1 and 2. He's got help from Gordon, from Yaley, from Hamlin, Biffle, and Kyle Petty. Or Sets starting to fall off the pack a little bit. As they come down the back straightaway, side by side for the lead. Ruderman with a big shove from Jeff Gordon. David Ruderman with the race lead, coming to the checkered flag in stage number 2. Will it be Ruderman or will it be Johnson side by side for the tri-oval? It'll be David Ruderman winning stage number 2. David Ruderman wins stage number 2 from Talladega, just barely over Jimmy Johnson. And I don't know if he's supposed to pass the 48 car, because he might think he got beat across the line, as we went forward a little too far, but Ruderman wins the race off pit road. Jeff Green sitting in pit road for an issue now, so he joins that club of cars to have an issue on pit road, and I believe Jimmy Johnson has an issue as he sits there in pit road. Ruderman will lead us back to the green with about 25 laps to go. And if you're Sadler and Starling Marlin, you want to get by Bobby O'Bonney quickly so you don't get hung out of the draft. And let's see if people like Menard and Burton and Earnhardt Jr. can stay in the draft this time, now that they have cars behind them. Here we come back to the green flag. And it's David Ruderman who will lead us back to it. Green flag back in the air. And we're going to look at these slower cars like Bobby Albani to see if Marlin and Sadler can get by them. And they will, so they will have a chance of staying in the draft. As they head off 1 and 2. Now Burton getting hung out to dry. It seems like Menard, Earnhardt Jr. and Burton just do not have the cars to run up here in the draft. But here they come down the front straightaway as they single file out at the back of the pack. It's pretty good leading here to talladega. Sadler was riding behind Menard for a little bit, but he sees the pack getting away, and now he goes to pass the 15 of Paul Menard. So now all the cars that could be seen as contenders are in the lead pack, or just barely outside of it. As you see, Boris Sad right there at the back of the pack is now Newman has the lead. Edwards down low with him as they run side by side off 2. Ricky Rudd with a bit of an issue there off 2. He's a bit slow off turn 2, Ricky Rudd in the 88 is. Suspension troubles for Ricky Rudd off turn 2, and that jumbles up the pack. As now Newman and Edwards run side by side. Seemingly hasn't harmed Gordon and others yet, but will throw caution if needed. And that's actually what we'll do. So the yellow will come out. Ricky Rudd out of the race with suspension troubles. But Sterling Edwards will lead them down pit road. Marlin leads them off pit road. And does David Ruderman have an issue? No, he just had a slow pit stop. So about 15 to go when we go green. Sadler dropping back. I don't know why they made Elliott Sadler in the 19s drop back, but that was a bit strange. And we'll keep an eye on guys like Jeff Gordon to see if he can get through the pack, as well as Petty, Yaley, Martin, David Ruderman, Elliott Sadler, etc. As they come back to the green flag with Sterling Marlin in the race lead. And green flag back out. Second 1 and 2. Ruderman was able to get by Earnhardt Jr. quickly, along with Bobby Albani. Sadler working on Earnhardt Jr. right now. As they now shuffle Robbie Gordon out the pack. He had a good pit stop, but he does not have the car to contend here at the front. Now pretty much every contender is right here in the lead pack. Paul Menard finally gets the restart, or he gets to be in the pack. And now he gets to hang on to the draft. As they run side by side off turn 2. Edwards with the lead, just barely ahead of Ryan Newman. Here comes the help from Jeff Gordon and Paul Menard. Paul Menard, you saw him in the Daytona duels, actually almost won his duel as an open car, which brought him into the Daytona 500. But now they run side by side for the leads off the trial block, as Edwards is still ahead of Ryan Newman, but Newman pushing ahead through 1 and 2. Greg Biffle hasn't won yet this year. He's looking for his first one on the season. Jeff Gordon, one of those guys who hasn't won this year. He's trying to get that one in the books right here at Talladega. JJ Yaley, he's had a bad start to the season. What a win would do for his season. Maybe even push him towards a potential chase run. It would really help the confidence for that 18 team. But look at Ruderman up the middle. Ruderman trying to get Toyota's first ever win in NASCAR. The Cup Series, that is. Here we go for 1 and 2 again. Ruderman now nosing ahead into the lead, but he's got no help. Gordon abandoned down low. Menard goes down the draft with Jeff Gordon now. As they remain 3 by 3 for the race lead. Ruderman walks up the hill. He holds the lead here off 3 and 4, trying to get Michael Waltrip Racing their first ever win in the Cup Series. As we close in on 10 laps to go here from Talladega. Off the pack just a little bit, but they've caught right back up to it. As now Mark Martin leads the field down the back straightaway. Three by 3 through turn 3 and 4. Gordon down low, Martin up high, Biffle in the middle. Gordon had the chance to clear there, but he didn't take it. He's got help still from Kyle Petty. As they come across the stripe, it's going to be Mark Martin maybe leading the lap. No, it's Jeff Gordon by 3 1/100ths of a second. That could be how this race ends in a photo finish. And you see Boris Said still trying to hang on to the pack. He should be able to. I don't see any damage on that number 60 No Fear car. As they come through 3 and 4 again. Menard with an issue, he drops to the pit road. Maybe fuel concerns for Paul Menard as the Mark Martin continues the lead here from Talladega. laps. They still run 3 by 3 here off turn number 2. Martin with the advantage as Boris Sad begins to lose the draft. If that 60 car would want to run a little lower for a little bit, he may be able to catch up. But Gordon is still trying to get the lead away from Mark Martin and Greg Biffle as there are now 10 laps to go here from Talladega. To his inside, and there you see Elliott Saddle and Paul Menard both coming off pit road. They're going to pick up Sadler into the pack, but I don't think he'll affect the battle for the lead too much. Or will he? Because look at the blend. Here comes Yaley to the inside. Marlin peels off. He's gone to pit road. So maybe the fuel can't make it for the field. Did they fill it up enough? And now Biffle with a sizable gap at the front. But here comes Yaley with help from Hamlin. Yaley gonna look low on Biffle. Also, though, you must notice that there's only individual cars that have been peeling off the pit road. I want to see a big group to see if really everyone is having trouble with their fuel. Do we see anyone peel off this time? No, we do not. There you see Sterling Marlin coming off pit road. But now it's Yaley and Biffle side by side for the lead, and Yaley's going to lead them across the line. Menard's going to check up this whole outside lane, and that's going to send Biffle and Hamlin back a few spots. And now Kyle Petty jumps up to cover. Here comes Gordon down low as the pack's gotten disorganized. Gordon and Yaley side by side for the lead off turn number 4. And then come across the stripe, and it's going to be Jeff Gordon who leads the lap. Now with 5 to go from Talladega. Jeff Gordon has had horrible luck this year, which is ironic coming to a track where you need luck and leading with 5 to go, but it's still not over yet until we reach that start-finish line on the final lap. And here they come for 3 and 4 again. It's Mark Martin with the race lead now as he noses ahead of Jeff Gordon. Across the stripe they go. The margin, 12 100ths of a second for the race lead with 4 laps to go. Kyle Petty making a move down low as Ruben and Biffle still trying to make that very low lane work. Wide for the race lead. Here's Ryan Newman. David Rudeman finally gets to make that bottom lane work as the other 2 lanes got checked up. Again, coming across the stripe, it's going to be Newman leading now with 3 laps to go. Pole sitter David Rudeman still trying to make that inside lane work. He's got help from Greg Biffle. Now he goes up to block Hamlin. Now coming around to 3 laps to go. Ruderman and Newman side by side as they come to 2 to go, 3 to go. Newman edges ahead at the line. Ruderman now nosing ahead with the lead off turn number 2 as they head down the back straightaway. That lap car Marlin's going to be the pit road here once they come off 4, so he will not be an issue for the race leaders. Just 2 laps to go. Now 2 laps to go from Talladega, and David Ruderman still has the lead as they go through 1 and 2. Again, Ruderman looking for the first ever win. Michael Waltrip Racing as an owner and Toyota as a manufacturer and Cup. As they come around turn 3 and 4. Ruderman up high, Gordon and Hamlin down low. Here they come to the white flag from Talladega. One lap to go from Talladega. Can Ruderman hang on? Or will Hamlin have anything to say about it? 1 lap to go from Talladega. There's more organization in the top lane, but here's Edwards to help the bottom. There's drag race side by side down the back straightaway here with 1 lap to go. Is it David Ruderman's day or is it the day of Denny Hamlin? Ruderman now gets a little clear here in the 3 and 4. They're going to be side by side though off turn number 4. Hamlin back to the bottom. They're going to run side by side here off 4. Petty's going to make a move down low that may have killed the momentum on the bottom. And it's going to be David Ruderman who wins at Talladega for the first time. David Ruderman gets the job done at Talladega from the pole position over Denny Hamlin, Ryan Newman, Jeff Gordon, and Mark Martin. David Ruderman with his first career win at Talladega, and that may just turn his season around.